Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us for our webinar today. I know it's early for some of you, 9 a.m. I'm not sure if we're awake here yet in New York, but we had the pleasure of having Mikko from Confidex attend. Those who don't know Confidex, they're one of the leading UHF and NFC tag manufacturers. And through discussions with Mikko a month or two back, as we started going into the world of NFC, I spoke to Mikko, I think, for an hour one day, and he had such a wealth of information and really gave me a very good understanding of where NFC was, where it was going, and I couldn't help but think it would be great to have him share that knowledge with our users. So anyway, Mikko, thanks for attending. First, we're just going to get to a little house cleaning here. And first things first, we're going to open up questions during the webinar. You can type them into your side panel. We will get to them at the end of the webinar, but as you think of them, please type them in. That's really what makes a lively webinar good questions. If we're unable to answer any of those questions, we will send you an email and with the answers. Anyway, back to the house cleaning. For those that don't know, we've recently started up our open offices at the beginning of this year. Really successful. It's your opportunity to get training and best practices for our new customers and those customers with support. We're doing those every Tuesday at 2 o'clock and every Thursday at 10 a.m. We've recently also started up our open offices in Spanish every Wednesday at 11 a.m. for our Latin American customers, and we have Giovanni, who's our Latin American manager. He sits in and he does those webinars, and we have our support staff behind him with any questions he may not be able to answer. In our RFID world, Clearstream 4.0 is coming out. That's our fixed RFID software. For those that aren't familiar with it, very popular. We've had it out for around 5 years. It's the counterpart to TracerPlus mobile RFID. And the 4.0 is coming out next month. It's going to have a lot of exciting features, one of which will be self-healing readers. And the other main feature will be messaging. As always, we're doing a lot of webinars. Coming up on July 27th, we have another one of our You're a mobile apps developer and didn't know it. Basically, this is our starting webinar for those who aren't familiar with TracerPlus. We show you how within 30 minutes you can get up and going and creating TracerPlus webinars. If you can't sit in one of those webinars, if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see that we are spending a lot of time and investment putting up new YouTube videos. We just put up an RFID in retail video with one of our new employees starting in it, John, who's in it. And we've also have a new video up for smartphones, one of the more advanced, it's called a black belt feature of TracerPlus that sets it apart from other applications. And how he shows how that's set up and how it's used. Finally, if you're not active on our forums, we have 2 forums that really bring our users together. Integration questions, best practice questions, a great place to go. Forum.tracerplus.com and clearstreamrfid.com. And last but not least, LinkedIn. Please follow us at PTS. We're announcing all our upcoming webinars and hosting some really good conversations there. So let's get into the heart of the presentation. With 9.2 TracerPlus, we introduced NFC. And for those who aren't familiar with NFC, it is one of the most popular new technologies that's available to everybody on an Android smartphone, or almost everybody. Most smartphones have NFC built into them. And if you're not familiar with the technology, you may have seen it used here and there. We really think it opens up a lot of possibilities, and we've integrated our smartphone technology with it, which gives you the ability to just pretty much scan any NFC tag, and it auto-populates into the proper field. So if the NFC reader's on, it's going to auto-populate and fill out your forms for you automatically. We based it on the NFC standards, so our NFC integration is going to work with pretty much any Android phone out there that has NFC. And a lot of the industrial phones have it as well. So if you are using an industrial terminal, there's a good chance it has NFC on it. It'll work with that. It opens up a whole new round of possibilities, which we'll talk about. And if you have consumer phones in your mix, or want to possibly give your users the ability to do some data collection that haven't been doing it in the past through a phone, NFC is a great option. So we figured we'd start off just talking about the technologies that are available for data collection and what we do and what we know. First off, TracerPlus has been out there for around 12 years, and it's primarily, or was primarily, a barcode application. And where we saw barcodes work well were in inventory, large volume, asset tracking, low cost to high value items. To print a barcode is relatively inexpensive. It's less than a penny usually, and you know, you can place them anywhere. It's a great technology that's not going anywhere. It's going to keep on being very popular. Where we've seen it more popular is with rugged industrial deployments, meaning that users are on a rugged or a high-value barcode terminal, not on a phone. And they're doing high-volume scanning. They're scanning 500 to 1,000 records today. That's really where we've seen it go. Now, we've seen it in other applications, but where we see the bulk of what we're doing is in these high-volume scanning applications. And the environments are inside the four walls in a batch environment to, let's say, a WAN environment outside. Barcoding, mobile data collection is really taking off, and barcodes are still 60% of our TracerPlus deployments. However, we have seen the problems with barcodes, and this is really where NFC fits in, so we figured we'd go through the shortcomings, and then we can circle around and show how NFC kind of overcomes some of these and is another option. So if you're doing a large deployment, and you want to do it the right way, you're going to need a rugged device typically. You don't want to give your users you know, something that's subpar, that doesn't have a good barcode scanner. So the cost of those devices is usually prohibitive and limits the deployment. You know, you're really only giving it to your high volume users. For security applications, rounds, those type of things, there's not much in the way of encryption, so people can photocopy a barcode. That's what we mean lack of security. If someone wants to trick the system, sometimes they can if they're pretty ingenious. For example, if someone, let's say, is doing some sort of check-in application at a location, and maybe they have to do rounds at night, they're a night watchman, it's not that difficult for them to photocopy those barcodes and then sit at a desk and scan them every 15 minutes like they were at a location. Inside the four walls, you're not going to get GPS, and you know, someone could trick the system. We've seen tons of customers try to release barcode applications on smartphones, and we have seen some successes for those low volume scanning applications, or something where you have some time to scan it in. But for the most part, scanning on the phones with a regular cell phone is kludgy, to say the least. You have to focus. It's actually taking a picture and decoding it, and it's a process. So really where we see the success is in those high volume applications, and without high volume, it's hard to justify that rugged terminal that guarantees a successful implementation. As you know, our TracerPlus users know, 40% of our new installs is with our UHF RFID. And we have seen the ROI with UHF. Our customers have seen it, and it's amazing. You know, you're taking an inventory that maybe would take 2 weeks, and you may be scaling it back to 1 day with one user. So inventory, asset tracking, anything where you're scanning a lot of items and you have someone who's dedicated or semi-dedicated to that task, UHF is a great item, a great way to go. It's great for tracking your medium to high cost items, so assets, high value inventory. UHF, you can justify that cost of that 15 cent, 20 cent, maybe even $1 task. Vehicles going in and out of gates, employees, giving them badges. Those are great installs for UHF, as well as your classic inventory. If you look at our website, we have a great inventory video on a company called MCA Tile. These are great deployments for UHF. Large inventories, you want to know the location of something is another great feature of UHF. With a 30-foot range, if you know something's within, let's say, a 60-foot area, you can go in there, turn on the UHF scanner, and through our Geiger features, you can find those items. And it works great in batch and WAN environments. while it's connected to databases. Again, the shortcoming, and what we've heard, and which we hear a lot of, and what's really driving a lot of this NFC development is the cost of the device. They have maybe 20 users who are dedicated to UHF, but they would like the manager to be able to read the UHF tag at the same time. Well, he can't do it with anything but a $1,000 plus device. The right devices are in the $2,000 range, and that is a cost prohibitive equation that keeps that deployment from growing. And it's been a hindrance for some of our customers, and we think NFC, as it moves forward, is going to take that out of it. Mikko's going to get into some of that with dual UHF NFC tags as a future solution for the customers. So finally, NFC, where it fits. NFC is secure in that you can't really photocopy an NFC tag. So those night watchman applications is a great solution. It has tight standards, so therefore it's universal on most phones. It allowed us at PTS to implement the technology and make it available to everybody with a smartphone. It's affordable in that any user who has an Android phone, not iPhone yet, maybe someday Apple will release it, because right now the iPhones only are allowing it for payment, but anyone who has an Android phone can use NFC technology. And the future is really bright. The numbers are going through the roof to the point of almost 2 billion phones will have NFC within the next couple of years. So there's a good chance that in your BYOD environment, most of your users, especially in Europe, will have NFC that is compatible with TracerPlus available. Now, if you haven't seen NFC in action, we do have a video or two on it on the YouTube channel that shows just how quick it is. It is just as good on a cell phone as it is on an industrial device. So there's no giving up anything when you move to that phone except the ruggedization. So suggested deployments, again, the security inspections, security rounds, inspections, high-value asset tracking. You can put those tags on, and they rival the cost, and Mikko will get into this, they rival the cost of a UHF tag and are as easy to print as a UHF tag. 20 cents to high-end, something that's going to last forever, maybe a couple bucks that will go on a car on the outside. Those tags are going to last a long time, and they can be put in all these different situations. Again, we see it going into the medium to high cost. You're not going to use it to track low-dollar items. You're not going to put it on a 20-cent item. It kind of defeats the purpose. So you still may be using your barcodes for those type of items, especially in retail. The deployments can go to everybody. So again, I did that scenario where you might have 20 UHF devices out there. Well, with the dual tags that are coming around the bend, you can, give the high volume UHF 20-foot range scanning to, your core workers, those guys doing the monthly audits. But maybe you want to give the person, the manager, a TracerPlus app, the same application with NFC capability, so he can also scan those tags. Usually it's going to people who it's not their core function. Again, the managers, workers who may be doing it once a month. The NFC is a great, because there's no additional cost for the devices, it's a great way to go. Again, lower volume items being tracked. So we really don't see NFC going into, your million count inventory. However, if you have 500 assets in a location and you want to give a couple people the ability to scan those assets and log them, NFC might be a good solution for you. No line of sight, quicker than a barcode, just wave it over it and you're going to get a read. And then finally, we see it in the WAN and real-time environments, because you have that cell phone. You're going to be taking advantage of that, and it's on Android, which is not the greatest batch terminal. So it's typically being used in a real-time environment where you're connected to a database and you're bringing that information in and looking up items and getting all the critical information you need on it. So I know I kind of rambled through that. I really wanted to get over to Mikko. We'll just have one more slide here. So if you do want to get started with NFC on TracerPlus, you have an Android phone and you want to try it out, we're going to suggest you download TracerPlus 9.2, which is now live on the site. Go to TracerPlus, hit the download button, and you'll have access to TracerPlus 9.2. It's available for trial. You don't have to buy it right away. You only have to buy it if you're really deciding to move to deployment and want to transfer or sync more than 100, I think it's 20 records that's limited now. You want to learn how to set it up. We have a beautiful training video set up. Go to our YouTube channel and search for NFC, and you'll see a video how he's showing you exactly how to set up the applications. And you can even talk to your representative, your TracerPlus representative. They might have some templates for you to use. And if you do get going and you're moving along and you have questions of how to, finish off your app, or maybe, even how to get started, we have these Tuesdays and Thursdays open offices that we really are hoping you can take advantage of. Can't say enough about the open offices, what we see people coming to us with, and how they're progressing by attending them every Tuesday and Thursday. Again, with that being said, we will bring this over to Mikko. Mikko, I'm going to give you control now. And thanks, everybody. And at the end, we will have questions. Mikko, you should have control now if you want to share your screen.
So thanks, Brad. I think it was a good introduction for the NFC and where it's actually going. It's really interesting to see this world starting to happening finally. I mean, my name is Mikko Nikkanen. I'm working for the Confidex as a marketing and business development director. I've been in the RFID business since 2005 and making some applications already back then, 2005. I was working for the advertising agency, and we actually made some voting applications with the NFC phones, but I think that was a little bit too early at that time because there was around 5,000 devices around the world at that time. So that was the total volume. Now the times is a little bit different. As of today, we have around 1.5 billion NFC devices, including the smartphones and tablets out there at the market. So I think it's really interesting to see this growing infrastructure and growing number of the different kind of applications coming into the NFC scheme. A little bit about the Confidex. The company which I'm working for is established actually 2005, not 2015 like in the there is some mistake there. But so we have been on the market over 10 years, and we have been delivering globally over 600 million NFC tags in different formats, including the labels like stickers, tickets, hard tags, etc. For the different kind of applications. And naming, let's say one example is Miami subway tickets, which are provided by us. And we are kind of doing those customized and innovative special tags for the challenging environments, which means really tough industrial environments in the automotive industry, for example, and really places where you need some robust tags. We have those with plastic covers with on-metal surfaces so that you can place directly on the on-metal, which is not typical use case for the NFC or RFID tags. We have been also very innovative on the market. So first time in the industry, we have been doing several things with the contactless tickets, with the UHF hard tags, with the UHF RFID labels. And we continue to be innovative also in the future. So quite sure that we're gonna answer to the customer demand, whatever it is. So the NFC market status currently is that tech has been there available almost for 12 years now. It was originally agreed by Philips at that time, nowadays NXP, Sony, and Nokia, that they had this nice technology available and what to do with this technology. So of course it needs ecosystem and it needs the infrastructure, and that has taken some years to build up. It's similar compared to the Bluetooth market, which was already available in 1990s, and still it takes many years before it was really taken into use. Nowadays we see Bluetooth very much used in several type of applications, including the consumer and industrial applications. So it's really common technology, and it's the same for the NFC as well. So as of today, we have around 1.5 billion NFC devices out there at the market, and the forecasts are saying that at the end of this year it will exceed over 2 billion NFC devices already. I think that's a huge number. That's a huge existing infrastructure for any kind of application, including the consumer-driven applications, but also the industrial applications, because then it supports the POT infrastructure where the people, they have their own devices anyhow, and you don't need to do the hard investments for the actual reader infrastructure. Also, the Android smartphones, that's taking around 80% market share globally, including the brands like Samsung, Sony, LG, Lenovo, or Moto previously. So it's really a big grab of the market which is included in this group of devices which are supporting the NFC. Apple is already supporting the NFC, but only for the Apple Pay, so let's see when that will change. So why NFC is important right now? Like Brad already explained, it's really something which is growing fast. We are seeing the NFC payments especially taking off now very fast with the Apple Pay, with the Android Pay, and with the Windows Pay as examples. Those are kind of platform approaches, but then again also the banks and Visas and MasterCards, they are bringing their own solutions for driving the mobile payments faster forward. And this is also driving the infrastructure forward. So it's creating kind of an ecosystem of different kind of applications and different kind of parties which are supplying into this market. Very common use case for the NFC technology nowadays is really the simple initial Bluetooth connection or Wi-Fi pairing. So basically you have a speaker or a headset where you have the NFC functionality. What you basically do, you touch that with the NFC phone, and then you can transfer your music from your mobile phone to the actual speaker or headset. And same with the Wi-Fi pairing. So if you have a Wi-Fi router and you want to get access into that router, there are some models already which are equipped with the Wi-Fi with the NFC interface, so you can simply tap it and get paired with the Wi-Fi connection. Those kind of applications which are making your life a little bit more simple, more easier, and faster, and more convenient. So this whole global infrastructure of the devices is currently available for many kind of applications, and I think that especially from the industrial perspective, this is something which is just starting up right now. So there is still good time to hop into the train and make the things happening with the NFC. So variety of applications is really raising up, and if thinking of the industrial environment, different kind of proof of visit at the location, including the timestamp. So if you have some night watches, or if you have some other type of process controls where you need to have a certain person checking into certain location in certain time, then you can have the timestamp based on the NFC location. Also, the product authentication and brand protection, those are raising up really fast for the consumer application side. And we are seeing the NFC also picking up quite surprisingly also in the gaming area. We are talking about console games and mobile games in the future. Smart homes and smart cars is something which is bubbling under. There are already some smart home applications utilizing the NFC, and the smart cars for sure will be coming more into the market when there will be more electric cars, for example. Combination with different kind of other IoT technologies such as UHF RFID or Bluetooth beacons or some other type of sensor technologies is something which is happening already. So we are seeing some of these combinations coming into the market this year and next year. So the standard behind the NFC is held up by NFC Forum, and that was established by 2004. by Nokia, NXP, and Sony. So big companies joining together and thinking what to do with the technology, and then also creating the standardized environment which makes sure that you have a global frame where you can build up applications nicely so that they work with every device, with every tag, everywhere in the same way. So this is really creating the interoperability for different kind of NFC devices and tags. The NMark stands for the standard. So whenever you see some product, some Bluetooth speakers or Wi-Fi routers or printers with the N logo, this blue logo on the right side, then you kind of know that this device can be connected with the NFC smartphone. Sony has been utilizing this mark quite heavily for all the electronics which they have been supporting with the NFC. So you can see this mark frequently on the Sony devices. And NFC Forum does quite a lot of work for promoting different kind of use cases and applications through the special interest groups. And they have several groups related to retail applications, industrial applications, and payment, ticketing, healthcare, etc. And the industry is really supporting heavily the whole NFC Forum. Apple is involved since last year, and of course the big companies like MasterCard, NXP, Sony, Visa, etc. Samsung, they are all involved for developing the standard forward. The NFC Forum has defined a couple of major things related to interoperability and especially related to how the tags are functioning, what kind of memory slots are available, and what kind of functionalities can be created with those NFC tags. The memory slots are probably something which, especially for the industrial applications, you need to select more security, more memory from the size perspective, so that you can have a combination there with the specific UID code of the tag, but then also something which is customized per the industrial applications. Or then you can have also the URL type of a website address or something like that combined as a total message. So then you might need some more memory space available for that kind of applications. Those type 1 to type 4 tag types, they have been available for years and supported by different kind of chip suppliers. But the new type 5, which was kind of granted last year by the NFC Forum, is actually now including old HF ISO 15693 based applications as a part of the NFC standard, which means that old type of library tags of transportation tickets, access cards, and different kind of pharmaceutical tracking applications, etc., they became as a part of the NFC Forum standard last year. So those type of tags can be nowadays used also within the NFC Forum standard. However, the ISO 15693 standard products, the read distance is reduced down to the standard NFC level, which is about 1 to 2 inches. So, and the basic reason for this was just to keep the services based on the NFC Forum standard reliable and always same. The user experience needs to be the same. So what are the differences between the NFC and the UHF RFID, nowadays called the RAIN RFID? So like I said, the NFC is really coming from the near field communication. So it's really short distance, 1 to 2 inches, typically the reading distance. But it's also supported by the global infrastructure of 1.5 billion smartphones. However, the applications nowadays are probably a little bit more consumer driven, but I would say that the number of different applications are growing more and more from the industrial side of businesses. And there the use cases are supporting the normal process infrastructure and process control, etc. And those will be finally integrated as a part of the ERP systems at some level. But really, this is the kind of basically based on the fact that you have those smartphones all over there at the market already. So that's why the consumer applications and especially the payments are now driving the market forward. If compared to the RAIN RFID, there you have really kind of longer reading distance up to the 30 feet, or if powered with the batteries, if you have some battery-assisted passive tags, you might easily end up being somewhere around 100 or 150 feet. So the reading distance is really different level. But there also the heavy investments for the actual reader infrastructure is something which might be limiting the possibilities to use the RAIN RFID for certain retail applications or certain industrial applications. Typically, the RAIN RFID is used for the retail applications for inventory business case. And after all, the applications are naturally driven by the industries more, because those are industrial applications and consumers don't have the devices for reading or writing those tags. But there is also combinations of technologies where, for example, Confidex, we have put together the NFC and the RAIN RFID functionality into the one card, which is Confidex Dual RFID card. You can access the same memory area from the NFC device, but also from the RFID UHF reader side. So, but you can also separate those functions if that is needed from the application perspective. And this is something which is just starting to happen right now. So it's something which is totally new and haven't been at the market. But it's really nice that those nice technologies are now combined together, and you can find various use cases for that. So the tag form factors, where in which formats you can actually get the different kind of NFC tags. So you can have plain inlays, which are typically embedded inside of the electronics or under the PCB of the electronics, or you can have plain sticker type of inlays. Then you can have some personalized hybrid labels, which have also the QR codes or barcodes or other visual type of codings on it, and those are typically used for the consumer type of applications, like the ticketing applications. You can see the picture on the right side. Then, of course, the hard tags, which is really needed for the industrial environments. There, the temperatures might be really high, or there might be some vibration involved, or there might be some other type of heavy conditions. So then you need to have some hard tags which are long-lasting and robust products for that kind of environment. And then you have some special environments where you need to tag some metal type of things, like here we have the gas cylinder, and there you need to have a specific on-metal tag with the special surfaces so that it's surviving on the metal. But there are various form factors available already, and I think most of the issues and challenges which have been there for the RFID or NFC applications from the physical perspective has already nowadays solved. So I think the technology from the tag perspective is maturized enough for big rollouts. Then a couple of examples about the typical NFC tag use cases nowadays. I already mentioned about the brand protection. I'm seeing this more starting to happen also for the industrial applications, where you have some replacements like spare parts or some consumable parts, air filters or some type of other spare parts which need to be identified. And this identification, the authentication, can be done with the mobile device, but I believe also that more and more in the future by the machine itself, so that it has the integrated NFC reader inside the machine. And when you change some air filter or some other spare part, it recognizes that, okay, this is authentic spare part, I can accept this. But if it's not, the machine is not accepting that. very typical use case in the future. Then kind of surprising market area is this gaming collectibles, which have been actually the most, let's say, volumes for the NFC industry, which have been supplied over the years for the successful games like Skylanders by Activision, or Nintendo Amiibo, or Lego, or Disney Infinity. There's hundreds of millions of tags already supplied for this type of gaming applications, and those are simply because of you can do the authentication quite nicely based on the NFC technology, and you can use that for the console games, but also more and more the same functionality can be used with the mobile games in the future. Then very typical nice use case with the printer pairing, and this example by Samsung. You simply tap the printer with your smartphone, and after that you can print your documents directly on the printer. The pairing is done by the NFC, but of course the actual data is sent over the Wi-Fi or Ethernet to the printer, but it's easy access to the materials if you are, let's say, out abroad and you want to print some documents, so you can tap the hotel lobby printer and print your documents out. That's based on the NFC. And then like discussed already earlier, the night watchman applications, proof of locations, access management type of applications, those are very typical for the industrial environments where you need to have some proven check-ins for certain time or certain location, and those can be easily placed with the NFC tags. Smart homes also utilizing the NFC, having the simple features there that you can tap the tag and switch on the lights, or you can access some other type of functionality, the temperature of the room or something like that with your smartphone easily by tapping the tag, but still securely, so that you have to be present in that location where the tag is, and then only after being there you are able to set up the new settings. Yeah, and they're a little bit repeating the same message, but I see that the industrial applications is the next area where the NFC will be growing fast. And it's not the solution for all of the applications. Certainly there are some areas which are reserved for the rain RFID application and rain RFID tags. But there's lots of area also related to maintenance and process control, automatic authentication of spare parts, etc., which can be done with the NFC technology. And where the future is going with the NFC is that it will be everywhere. It will be everywhere because of the global infrastructure. If you have there next year 2 billion NFC devices, including the smartphones, including the tablets, it will be sure that it's a kind of a platform where it's easy to develop a new type of applications, and still the infrastructure cost is really low compared to the traditional rain RFID type of approach. The tech price itself is coming down also quite rapidly. Over the years it has been decreasing a lot already, so we start to be at the really mature level already for the volume applications. And like I said, the integration of the readers for the machines and other type of devices will be happening in the future, so that the machine itself can recognize the authentic spare parts, etc. We will also see the combination of NFC with other wireless technologies. And like I said, the dual RFID is also already something which is picking up new type of application areas. And NFC will be surely combined in many applications also together with the Bluetooth and beacons, etc. And with different type of sensors, because it's easiest access, because you have your mobile computer in the pocket, you have your smartphone, which has a large computing power, and then just having the access easily for that goes through the NFC. In the certain locations you can have a different kind of sensor data applications for that. So I think it's really good timing like I said, to hop into the NFC wagon and start to build up the applications for the end users. There's also clear demand for that, so I think it's good timing for everybody to take this opportunity forward. Thank you, everybody, and thanks for PTS.
Okay, thanks, Mikko. At this point, I guess we'll switch it back over to Brad. If anyone has any questions over anything that went on today, please reach out to us with stuff that we didn't get into in the webinar today, as far as what answers you're looking for, what you'd like to see in TracerPlus, or what you'd like to see in these webinars.
Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up there. We went a little over time. Again, Mikko, thanks so much for the time, and we look forward to learning more about Confidex in the future. Maybe we can do one of these again at some point. And we are going to have the slides and a YouTube presentation available. If anyone needs Confidex's information, the reseller is on the call. Please don't hesitate to contact us, and we can provide both the U.S. and the international contacts for Confidex. That's a tongue twister. Anyway, with that said, we're going to shut this down. We thank you so much for the time, and we look forward to hearing from you about NFC in the future.